Well, grand rising and good morning to all of you out there. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday, and you guys know we do this as a duo. Let me bring in my co-host, Big O. What up, Big O?
Trey Holiday.
Hey,
So it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. I think there's always a lot going on, my friend.
Listen, there's a lot going on. Speaking of a lot going on, we got a packed show here today. We've got Justin Carter. There it is. We've got Justin Carter from Capitol Hill Seattle blog, capitolhillseattle.com. We've got photojournalist Jake Gravbrod. He's going to show us some of his latest stuff that he's been up to. And we've got Deborah and Apple from A for Apple Early Learning Center, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Great community spot. Excited to catch up with those ladies.
Yeah. Whoa, what's that? A lot going on the set. Oh, what's happening here? All right. Before we get into it, there's always a good opportunity to remind everybody to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with those you know that could appreciate culturally relevant news, information, and headlines here from the Emerald City.
Absolutely. I mean, share it with those who need it.
Yeah. So real quick, before we jump into some things here, man, I saw this morning here on the Seattle Times. All my stuff is out of order, but I will say this. No, I don't have the full printout, but I do remember from talking about reading it this morning. Washington is the best state for the second year in a row, obviously. This is from Christine Claridge over at the Seattle Times. And basically what they were saying was that Washington State, because of healthcare, secondary education, infrastructure, of all things, and overall economy and everything else, that Washington is the best state in America for the second year in a row.
Great to be coming from the Seattle Times. I think that, this is why it's all about making it the best. Like we see that there's so many different things happening at various levels. And ultimately, we see a lot of people flocking to this city, flocking to this state, literally because there are so many different opportunities. So I understand a lot of that. Oh, I understand that.
That was from U.S. News and World Reports. And the worst states, Alabama and Louisiana.
Oh man. So, giving them some love on this day.
National headline here. Of course, this is day 2 of it's called the George Floyd trial, but of course George Floyd isn't on trial. Chauvin is on trial. But got a clip right here from ABC News. Good morning, Ms. Marin.
We turn now to the murder trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with the killing of George Floyd. Jury selection was delayed Monday as attorneys battled over charges in the case, and they're set to resume this morning as we hear from Floyd's sister. Alex Perez is outside the courthouse in Minneapolis as the city braces for more demonstrations. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Yeah, this is day 2 of proceedings, but things have essentially been in a holding pattern. The judge is hoping they can get started with jury selection later today.
This morning, all eyes on Minneapolis and the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former cop accused of killing George Floyd. Outside, demonstrators turning out to support the Floyd family Monday.
Long journey. Blood, sweat, and tears, but we will get justice.
Floyd's sister Bridget headed inside. Because of the pandemic, only one family member allowed in the courtroom. But before jury selection could even start,
we have sent all the jurors home.
A delay, the parties sparring over an appeals court ruling that the judge reconsider reinstating a third-degree murder charge.
This court would be making decisions about jurors for a trial about which we don't know what the exact charges are going to be yet.
We see the prosecutor really fighting to have this third-degree murder charge re-added. Why is that?
You do want as many options as possible, as many theories of your case that the jury can be looking at and accepting as a reason to convict the defendant.
Chauvin, who was seen kneeling on Floyd for more than 9 minutes in the courtroom taking notes. He's pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. With the jury selection process possibly beginning today, Bridget Floyd says the family remains focused on one thing.
Justice. 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 That's what's important, and nobody would ever forget his name. Nobody.
Now, because of the pandemic, jurors will be interviewed individually, but the judge hopes once the process begins to interview as many as 14 potential jurors a day until the jury is filled.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, as she said there, you know, nobody will forget his name. And it is about justice right now. That's what had so many of us out there in the streets, thousands of people protesting. We all are going to remember George Floyd. And I think many of us are following this case.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the country is following this case.
Yeah.
One way or another. So we'll keep you updated with the news here from this trial of Derek Chauvin. Justice for George Floyd. All right, this is one you brought to our attention here, Trey.
Yeah, this coming from the stranger. My dad is the Tacoma cop who drove into the crowd of racers. And here his son really actually reflects on the systemic idealism that is really run rampant in all police departments, not just Tacoma. But he really highlights here that, you know, his father, whether he really felt that he was in fear for his life or not, that, you know, seeing others as a threat is how police officers are trained. And I think that it you know, shouts out a lot in terms of a son writing about this and saying, look, there are some real issues with the system of policing. And he wasn't, you know, giving his dad a pat on the back for it. He was really there to kind of criticize the systemic idealism that runs rampant in the minds of many cops. As we have been actually saying right here on this platform, that ultimately, regardless of the reforms that are created and the new legislation and policies that are passed, it still means that officers have to abide by that. And we saw during the protest movement, officers abusing power. We've seen it in many different cases that have played out throughout Seattle, our city, but also throughout our state. And I think that the son of this cop right here really hit the nail on the head with this article. And I'm glad that the stranger picked it up. I think it was, you know, one of those things that a lot of folks have been saying on the ground, but to hear it from this son in particular of this cop who ran through those racers out there on the street is just really giving another purview to this.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You can find that there in The Stranger. Is written by Andrew K. Fan, and that's the son of the officer in Tacoma who drove his cruiser through the street racers there. All right, we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we've got Justin Carter, Capitol Hill Seattle blog. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, the increase in hate crimes here in Seattle. He wrote an article about it. And also, we're talking about some good news, new business moving into the Liberty Bank building. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us. Back on this rap ish. I ain't even broke a sweat, homie. This practice. Pondering my next move. Staring at my track list. Hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist. Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. You know, I forgot to press my motion graphic.
Ah, there it is. Work hard on those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, man, we got to put those in. Oh, yeah, please bring in Justin Carter, Capitol Hill Seattle blog.
Guess what? My sound just went off, so let me fix this thing so we're not doing, I can't hear you at the moment. One moment. Sorry about this, folks.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, all right, there he is.
Throw your Apple shares right now.
Well, we got sound everywhere around here today. I don't know what's going on.
It's a rough Tuesday, huh?
Man, it's something. It's a new setup over here now. We're just trying to get used to it.
I got the same old setup, and it still broke. I don't know what's going on. Be careful.
All right, so I want to talk to you about a few things here. We hit this yesterday, and I was hoping that we would get you on air today, which you did. Appreciate you being here. Let me pull this up here. It says reported racially motivated hate crimes nearly doubled last year in Seattle. This is from the Capitol Hill Seattle blog by Justin Carter. Tell us about it. What's going on?
Yeah, this concerns really has come to the surface over attacks and bias incidents in our Asian community here in Seattle and really across the country in the wake of a lot of hate and some really high profile hate that came around from the coronavirus and the COVID-19 crisis. So I took a look at the publicly available statistics around bias crimes in Seattle, and the numbers are pretty disturbing. Just across the board, hate crimes categorized as racially motivated, those almost doubled in the number of reports through most of last year and through the most recently available numbers. So there's definitely a lot of problems going on. Now, one of the things is clear, just hate. There's bad language. There's the ideas that have come from the Trump administration. But what we've also seen in the past, especially around Capitol Hill's, LGBTQ community and hate crimes, is that mental health and crisis situations have a real big part to play in hate crime reporting in Seattle, and a lot of the cases that are coming into people's attention here in 2021 and throughout 2020 also had a mental crisis component. It's a real problem for the city.
So, do you think that the actual hate crimes are up, or just the people reporting is up?
Oh, always a question. There's more awareness, so there's definitely going to be a component there of increased reporting. It's difficult to say where that line gets drawn. A 93% jump, though, to around 405 incidents reported just through September of 2020. This is where journalists can make a real mistake and be bad data scientists. But the underlying factors there are probably very complicated and probably pretty interesting and probably pretty disturbing around that. I think that there's probably a base of real problem there that needs to be addressed. How much of that is around mental crises and the mental health and addiction problems that the city face? I think, to me, anecdotally, so many of the big bias and hate crime cases that I've covered in the last years on Capitol Hill have also been about mental health and those challenges. And it's really hard to separate it from me in my experience here on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I think that you're really pointing out a valid point here, Justin, in terms of, understanding, again, what so many have been talking about on the street, that there is more of a need for folks to understand we need a robust response to our mental health cases out there. My question for you is, have you seen, in terms of the data, is it showcasing the types of racial bias? Is there more towards a certain race or less towards others? Is that actually represented in the data you've seen?
In the data that the city collects, you can break it down by some of the different communities, and that's an important analysis. I have not done it. The sample sizes get really small. I know the Seattle Police Department is talking about it publicly. They always treat data in really interesting ways. You're talking about sometimes 14 cases compared to 9 in a previous period. That's where statisticians are going to freak out when you start to make big conclusions. But those are the numbers that we have. But yes, there are numbers available that show by community. I haven't done the analysis, and I think we'll see more of that. I hope it's done in a way that has good data science behind it, so we can take and make some really good decisions about it. A lot of the communities around the International District and here in Seattle and across the country, up and down the West Coast, have been clear that they don't necessarily see this. I mean, it's always hard to say a community speaks with one voice, but there's been a lot of discussion around the fact that the policing alone is not going to be the response that's needed to help solve this issue and these issues. And so I hope that also something that comes out of this is that it's going to take something more to solve bias and hate than just arresting someone who has an episode and freaks out and chooses these languages and these hate terms that are so prevalent right now, and that those are the fixes that really are going to have to come into play, and they're moving towards that, and there's a lot of discussion around it. I don't really know though when that will become more concrete. I think that moves more into some of the discussions we've had here around defund and moving resources out of traditional policing.
Yeah, I think that more people are probably reporting, or people feel more comfortable reporting. I mean, but it's hate crimes all the time, you know what I'm saying? But you just gotta just move on. I mean, I think more and more people are reporting. Moving on to some good news here, coming out of the Central District of Seattle in the Liberty Bank building. It says Cafe
Avol.
That's proper, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, okay, Cafe Avol.
Avol.
Ethiopian coffee tradition to the Liberty Bank building. Again, this is from the Capitol Hill Seattle blog by Mark Van Strifkirk. Did I get that right?
Good enough. I call him MVS. So that's I skipped that one too. No, this is good news, right? Let's go get coffee when this thing's all done. Or heck, you can go get coffee now. You just got to stand out on the corner and enjoy it afterwards. This is the Liberty Bank building at 24th and Union. It's intentionally developed business community there that's hoping and really now succeeding in attracting Black businesses, along with the affordable housing there at the corner. The cafe will join Communion, great restaurant, and Earl's Cuts, a longtime classic barber from the neighborhood. They're a great corner of business in the middle of the Central District. It adds a ton of, there's so many coffee choices there now. And it also is a bit of a trend around some of the, international flavors of coffee we're seeing kind of come into the community around Capitol Hill. We've seen the Pacific Northwest kind of hipster coffee era, and now with Boona around 12th Avenue and Cafe Avol, we're getting some flavors kind of going back to some of the origins of coffee coming into the neighborhood, and also Black ownership, which is really the point.
Yeah, I love that you say that, talking about the origins of coffee, because not enough people really understand where really there was a lot of ceremonies around coffee in the Ethiopian community. And so I'm so thrilled to see Cafe Avol finally breaking ground. I know it has been such a long campaign around their funding. Justin, through the reporting, do they actually have a date of when they are opening?
It's difficult in the pandemic era to pin any of those kinds of things down. Construction still takes longer. Anytime you're opening a cafe, there are wrinkles. The goal right now is May, June. Given some of the timelines I've seen, most of the coffee shops are taking a lot longer to come together, even though they're simple build outs. I would guess you're going to be able to get coffee there by middle of summer. And so that'll be around the good time when everyone's starting to get their vaccinations and being able to move around a little more freely. So it should be a good summer there around 24th and Union.
All right, good stuff. Justin Carter, Capitol Hill Seattle blog, capitolhillseattle.com. Man, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you guys.
Justin's always a good guy.
Always, man. And coming with, some good, robust reporting all the time. I mean, that's really what I love about the Capitol Hill Seattle blog. They really find a way to make sure that stories are coming from Capitol Hill, the Central District. They try to cover it all.
They covered it. It was actually a few more things up here that he covered that's going on in the CD. So maybe we'll catch back up with him later on in the week. But yeah, no, they stay on top of it. Yeah. They stay on top of everything over in the Central. Let me see. We're gonna take a quick merch break. Hint. When we come back, we've got another segment here from SBI in our conversation there with Seattle Vocational Institute. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Totally.
All right. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Wow. Okay, I got Ori in my my chair over here. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, joined by Trey Holiday here. We've been checking in with SBI all week. And yesterday we talked to Amisha Lawton, talked about her experience there. Today we've got a clip from Rashida Davis. Rashida Davis was a young mother when she came over there to Seattle Vocational Institute, had two young children at the age 18. And she was able to go in to SBI, learn, get a certificate, and they also had a daycare there as well at the same time. And so I spoke to Rashida, just asked her, was like, man, how important was your experience here at SBI?
My name is Rashida. I'm currently a medical assistant. I had 2 kids at a young age. So about the time I was 18, I had 2 kids. So I took a year on trying to get adapted to that, but I had parents that was really supportive and was like, well, we don't want you to just work. We want you to just work on, like, get your education, you know? I ended up getting a flyer at my doorstep, and they were like, GED classes, oh, and they have a daycare. So I was like, this is perfect, you know? I can take the kids with me, give my mom a little break, you know? And from then, I spent 2 years here, and in those 2 years, I got my GED. I completed the medical assistant program. I was on Ms. Barbara Jarrett's tenure committee, and I was working here doing work study.
When you think about where SBI and the current state of things is compared to when you were here and going through these programs, how does it make you feel now?
I think this is something that they should have worked on trying to save. Like, you know, when you go other places or a school that's not in the neighborhood you're from, and then here it is, you got kids and all this stuff. Like, I was able to get that here and feel like I'm not alone. You know, I'm not just this young girl that had 2 kids. It's other females, you know, other girls, young ladies that had children, and we was trying to make a difference. So that really gave me the family feeling I needed. Like, I've seen people come here that were like on, you know, drug addicted and really just came from up there and came here and never left, you know, really was fighting to make a change. And just to have something like that in the community I think it's much needed. The funding, I feel like you guys should get all the funding you need. It's really worth it. Like, this place saved a lot of people and it motivated a lot of people too.
Yeah, it's just good stories.
Yeah, I mean, and technically, when we're talking about such a place that had so many robust offerings, we talked about it leading up to yesterday, and you know, Amisha, I think it's so important that folks understand, man, this was really a place of community. And I like what she said there, Rashida said, in terms of, hey, they should have worked harder to save this, you know, right. Deferring the maintenance. Clearly now we see, you know, there's a huge development project on our hands to try to ensure that SBI continues on. And I agree with her 100% in that way.
Yeah. It's interesting actually talking to people who, I mean, they'll tell you that SBI really impacted their life. And I mean, these guys have gotten together and they're real serious about finding the resources to be able to bring SBI back to life, bigger and better than ever. So we got another clip for SBI tomorrow. We'll follow up with that. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we got the big fella himself in the building, Jake Grab. Hold on. You know, I spent time on these. Voila. Okay. So we got the big fella, Jake Grabrot, coming back right after the break. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us. Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
So special, huh?
Huh.
Yeah, somebody
Sir
said you
Jay.
rocking your earth tones.
Yeah. Earth tones, I will not get away from it. Thanks to all the compliments out there. I saw Santonio Bandanas, my guy, earlier saying I was looking fly. Kudos, brother.
Yeah, come on, you look fly every day.
Thank y'all.
That's your thing. Wow. Before we bring Jake in here, I want to take a second and say thank you to all of you who donate or subscribe to Converge Media. Your support definitely keeps us on air. Big shout out to our $5 army. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, they keep it rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? They keep us broadcasting. There's also a good reminder that if you haven't donated or supported and you'd like to, you can go to whereweconverge.com/donate.
Yeah.
All right, let's widen it out a bit here. We got the big fella on the set. What's up, Jake?
What's up?
Hey.
Good morning.
Welcome, Jay.
Oh,
It's
look
nice
at
to be
Jay.
here.
You got all cleaned up.
Yeah, I shaved half my face this morning. So.
You're looking great, brother.
Thanks. I can't compete with you. You know, I just got to put on a black T-shirt and roll. I know my lane.
Yeah, everybody can't be on their earth tones. Man,
I'm gonna get you.
It'll make me call Mark Curry.
Oh my God.
All right, Jake. So tell us about it, man. You know, I mean, a lot of people, they know you from here, from Converge. And almost all the photos, even they're behind you, you took the majority of those. You really documented this movement for social change in Seattle, even before May, but especially since May, going on a year with that. But you also like to get out and photograph other stuff. Tell us about it.
Well, I mean, I guess I came into photography 8 years ago now. It was all kind of a byproduct of having had cancer. And after I had cancer and had my surgeries and had kind of gone through a pretty tumultuous year, I found myself out a lot in nature. I would bring my tripod and a camera that I had for the hair salon that I owned at the time, and I would just get out and photograph in nature. And it was kind of like this really just, obviously nature is a very peaceful and beautiful place. So it was definitely that for me in that period of time in my life. And I've just always had a thing for being outside, and with the camera, you know, just kind of I want to be able to document it for my own sake, but I like being able to just document for other people too, especially this last year, because there's been so many people who haven't gone anywhere, and for, you know, their own understandable reasons. So this is kind of in some way just kind of going back to like giving people an opportunity to see the beauty in the world and you know, share it appropriately.
All right, so I'll let you set this clip up for us here. It's called The Canyon. Tell us about it.
So I do try to go places on the weekends, just get away. And I was in the Yakima River Canyon is a really, really beautiful, special place to me. I grew up in Yakima. My son lives in Ellensburg, so the distance between the two is split by either two roads. You can go the Highway 82, which is the faster route, or you can take the Yakima River Canyon, and it's really peaceful. You got towering walls around you and a river that runs through it, and there's hardly any actual business in it. It's just, there's literally one, there's a river lodge, which actually I ended up getting married in a number of years ago. And so it's just been a really, you know, it's been a special place for me. And so I went back to it in January and spent the weekend in the canyon and kind of came up with just a cool little short film, if you will, 24 hours in the Yakima River Canyon. And the other thing that I really noticed over the course of that stretch was that I got a little bit of everything. I got sunshine, and I got snow, and I got sleet, and I got rain, and this beautiful sunrise. And you know,
well, don't give it all away. So here's Jake across the canyon. 24 hours in the canyon.
Yep.
Jake.
I was in a bit of a mood when I made that one. It's definitely got a vibe to it.
No, you stay vibing. All right. So before we let you go, how can people keep up with you?
Well, my most active account is Instagram, which was listed at the end of the video. It's at walk.into.the.light. That's where you can find me. I'm there or I'm here.
Yeah, people can also buy prints from you too, right?
Yeah, the easiest way to actually access that, because at this point now prints are, you can make a print of anything, and I only ever show photos that I would ever want to make a print of, and so I do sometimes make prints for myself and just do test runs, but really anything that I put out there is something that can be made into a print in various different forms, whether it be metal or canvas or actual like a poster print itself. So probably the best way is just to message me. I'm pretty responsive on there. So
all right, so support this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's good work, Jake Grabbright. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Always.
We're gonna I got that.
There we go.
I got a graphic here. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we've got Deborah and Apple from A for Apple Early Learning Center. You're watching the Main Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us. Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Oh, there it is.
Jake actually made that spot too. He made both of them.
Yeah, Jake just really do be killing it in the production side, and clearly we got to see some of his more personal work there. But just gotta love his aesthetic, man. He comes with it.
Yeah, Jake really puts in a lot of work over here at Converge.
You see him here all night. He be serious about his edits.
All night, all day. I'm here like early morning, so like 5, 6 in the morning. I'm here, and you'll see Jake come through and grab a chocolate. Man, I'm going to get the sunset. Like what?
He's serious. Well, I'm really excited for our next guest.
Well, I'm always hogging the introductions. What? Leave it up to you.
There we go. You know what? I am so excited for our audience to hear from Miss Deborah and my sis Apollonia of A for Apple Early Learning Center. Oh yeah, please bring them into the screen.
Hey.
Hi.
Everyone.
Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are y'all?
We're good. Look, frontline working.
Yes, frontline working. That's why we said we're going to make it quick, but we wanted to bring you guys in to share a little bit more about what you guys have been up to. I mean, first and foremost, you guys really are a legacy Black-owned family business in the Central District. Legacy families own multiple homes. So you guys really, across many different spectrums, are born and bred of where you guys have kept your business. Please, let's learn a little bit more about what you guys have been up to.
Well, since the pandemic, took 2 weeks off when the pandemic first hit a year ago. And ever since then, we've been on the front line, making sure that our families are in a safe environment through the coronavirus.
Yeah. We wanted to make sure that we're able to offer in-person care for families who are working. They have the work. Who else to keep children but us? So we put ourselves on the line and made sure we provided in-person care as well as distance learning care, and still was teaching and online. So we've been front line, you guys.
Yeah. You guys really have been. And also too, how has it been in terms of, the people coming? As you said, there are still folks who need in-person childcare. How has that been during the pandemic? Has it increased? Have a lot of folks moved to digital? How has that been working for you guys?
It has, I feel like it has increased. I've only had 3 children distance learning. The remainder's been in person. Even being able to provide care for families who just need that mental break, that mental health for us adults is important as well for children. So just talking with our families to see how we could be there for them, how we could support them during this time. We've all came up with a plan. The families, they can't come inside the learning environment because we have to take temps, all these safety measures to ensure that we can be open and for families to feel comfortable to come in. So we do all these steps, and the family's really been pleased and thankful. And now that we're vaccinated, the providers were vaccinated, it's like, oh, they want to give us hugs, and we're like, no, not yet. It's still the but just being able to provide that care for working families has been a blessing for us.
Yeah. That's beautiful to hear. I'm glad you guys are keeping it safe with the boundaries. We come from long lines of huggers, I'm sure. So I'm glad you guys are being able to keep it safe. Now, I do know you guys also recently did a coat drive for the community. Let's hear a little bit more about how that went out there, how folks were able to receive some free coats, I heard, in various youth sizes.
So A for Apple Learning Center, we've been in the central area for 27 over here off of 20th and Nye. And since I became business partners with my mom 12 years ago, I've been just finding ways how A for Apple can stay ahead and see community. And so we became a nonprofit. Yeah. So A for Apple Learning Center, we're new to the nonprofit side. I said, let's give some brand new coats for 2T to 16. We were able to 200 children with brand new coats, and we partnered with Seattle Public Library as well as Kun. He provided books for children as well. So we had brand new books there, and Trey Simmons was able to provide some hygiene products. And what are they? Odessa Brown. They were able to provide hygiene products as well. So they came out with not only a brand new coat, but they came out with some other goodies as well. So that's just the first thing that A for Apple Learning Center put together for the community. But I have something else coming about next month that I can't wait to share with you guys. And I look forward for you guys to see our face more in the community.
Absolutely. That is brilliant. And I think that, again, it just goes to showcase how connected you guys really are to community, to get some legendary community members like Kun and Trey Simmons out there. Just beautiful to hear about that partnership. How can folks learn more about A for Apple Early Learning Center? Let us understand your contact and how folks can get connected with you all.
Yes, feel free to email us at aforapplelearningcenter.org, or you can call anytime 206-860-0230. We are in the process of expanding to our new center-based location on 23rd and Jackson, 323 23rd Jackson, in the new Jackson Heights building. So we're excited for that. I'm looking for young, motivated employees who want to grow in the field, who want to be in the early education field. You have to have that enthusiasm. It's so funny. I had an observation done on me the other day, and the observer was like, there's not that many teachers that's like you that are really getting engaged with the children like you do. I'm expecting teachers to be motivated, set examples, lead by example. So that's what I do when it comes to children. I want to just lead by example. And I've always mimicked my mother. She's been my example because she's been in the field for 27 years. So yeah.
So I've been in the business 27 years, you guys. So Apple, this is really new to me. So she motivates me to step, as you guys would say, step my game up, you know. So I'm excited of everything that we have to continue to give to the community. And us come as one, Trayana, and, you know, be together and all of us work together. That's my goal. That's what I want to see, that nobody's hating on nobody, but we're all going to work together and be powerful.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Well, I'm so glad that you guys made time for us and our audience right here at Converge this morning. You guys are doing some phenomenal work, and anytime the Converge platform can be utilized to really showcase the brilliance of our community and really bring about these solutions of childcare, it's so important to us. We talk about education often right here on this platform. Thanks again, man. These guys are doing great work, man. Thanks you guys so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been really a blessing for us childcare providers to get resources from Childcare Resources. They've been providing us with bleach, hand sanitizer, paper towels, toilet paper throughout the whole pandemic. They've been supporting working families where they've been cutting their tuition amount there for months. So there's help out here and support out here for working families. If you need and you're not in the central area, but you need that resource and you don't feel comfortable with maybe reaching out to 211 or Childcare Resources, feel free to call me. I don't hold my resources in, and you know, there's enough for everybody out here to be supported.
Well, thanks you guys so much, man. That's what we're talking about. Born and bred as a community. Thank you so much, Miss Deborah, for your legacy and passing it on to your daughter, Apollonia, doing amazing things, you guys, as an amazing family team. We are proud of y'all, and we are going to continue to encourage folks to reach out and utilize you guys as an amazing resource for their children. Thanks again, you guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Love that, man. You know, I mean, we talk about it all the time right here on Converge, and clearly, you know, they're the ones out there. They're like, look, we didn't stop. We were closed for 2 weeks. We got it right back popping for these babies. Love that.
No, I just actually we're gonna go to break. I just dug something out in the crates here of Apollonia from 2 years ago. I just found a video that we produced. So we'll take a break right now, and the morning update show continues.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us. Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, welcome back to the morning update show. Let me see here. You know, we've been telling these community stories for years. I mean, people see us now, the morning update show, this and that, and everything else. Let me dig in the crates here. This was 2 years ago when we talked to Apollonia, and this was dropping gems, and the gem that she gave was, man, talk to your children.
Talk with them. I have families where the mom or the father may be too busy to talk to the child. Talk to them. Don't just pluck them up with the binky or just give them that iPad or the cell phone. Talk to them. See what's going on in their head. See how their day was. You have to do that. My accountability for parents is very high. You have to do that.
So there you go. So 2 years ago, like I said, we had talked to her.
Wow. I mean, that's really what it's about. I think we talk about it so much right here on Converge, and I think we get used to it, but ultimately it's like, man, there is so many amazing people within the community, within our city that are doing some amazing things. And anytime, community media can be used to kind of spotlight that. I love when we do that, man. Just like we did with Jake there and his brilliance. It's like, that's what it's really about.
That's what I'm saying. People should know. 1 year anniversary of Morning Update Show, March 19th, but just know that, like, yeah, we've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Telling our story. Where are these going? These are all over the place. Got one last national story here. Have you heard of the pledge, the 15% pledge?
Just a little. Let's get into it.
Rochelle Porter has done this 1,000 times, preparing her designs to dazzle potential customers.
A plant would be amazing.
From jackets and cell phone cases to table runners and pillowcases.
My philosophy is if it can have a print on it, I want to put a print on it.
But today's setup is a little different.
How does it feel to you to watch your display come to life inside the store?
It's still pretty surreal to me. Just to be in an actual West Elm store is like a dream come true.
This is Rochelle Porter Designs, front and center in one of the nation's largest retailers. Not too long ago, she would sell only on her own website. Now, she's got a decor collection on westelm.com. It's thanks, in large part, she says, to the 15% pledge, a promise for big retailers to allocate at least 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned businesses and designers. An idea developed and championed by designer and activist Aurora James, who has worked with some of the biggest celebrities, including Beyonce and Hailey Bieber.
Why 15%? I chose 15% because it's pretty much a direct correlation to the amount of Black people that are actually in America. And I said, if Black people are roughly 15% of the population, they should be entitled to 15% of the shelf space at major retailers across the country.
The idea was born in the wake of protests over George Floyd's death, hatched from a single Instagram post that read, "Here is one thing you can do for us." Now, 8 months later, it's grown into a movement. Among the big names taking the pledge, Sephora, Macy's, and Crate & Barrel, more than 20 companies so far.
The pledge really accelerated things for my business. As a Black designer, as a woman designer, we often don't have opportunities presented to us. So this helps to level the playing field.
But that win is certainly not one-sided. For big companies, taking the pledge is turning into a big benefit.
It's actually been incredible for business. In 2021, people in America want to spend their money at places that they know are doing the work to create a better, more sustainable country for everyone.
Call this one Green Papaya, and it's in a phone case.
And for Rochelle, it's opening a whole new set of doors that were previously closed.
It was sort of, let's put you on the back burner. And now, because of the visibility of the pledge, those same retailers are coming to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a couple of years later.
Bringing much needed diversity to store shelves, both in the products and the people behind them. For today, Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Atlanta.
What beautiful products she has, and I think that call to invest in Black businesses is resonating with so many people.
I love that she says now those businesses that in the past didn't take her calls are coming to her.
Powerful moment there.
Yeah, no doubt it is.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, this is literally what we've been talking about in terms of some of the demands that were even brought during the 4th of July event to PCC. Ultimately, there's a real need here to support our Black businesses, and I love that this is taking on a national front. Kudos to all that have really worked to this 15% pledge. Omari, it lightens my day, brightens me up.
Yeah, no, it's good. And also kudos to people like Bartels, who it didn't take the murder of George Floyd for them to want to carry local Black-owned businesses. Right. Bartels have been carrying Black-owned businesses from way back when, supporting local small businesses. But it's a good thing, I mean, we always talk about, and people ask, well, what can I do more than put a Black Lives Matter sign in my window? Well, man, if you're a buyer for a retailer, what you could do is take the pledge.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that you're so right. We have to be able to give it up to those who didn't need this national push to be doing that work. And I think also, too, it's about being connected to your community more so than anything. And I think that when we start to see that a lot of local small businesses are right here in your purview, right here in your town, your city, your state, you have an opportunity to connect with those businesses, to reach out, find out who they are. Now there's a lot of markets happening. Peruse some of those markets for some of you major buyers out there. If you're looking for new products and new services, there are lots of folks out there at the farmers markets and other markets that are being created for them to make connections. I think you're absolutely right, Al.
All right. We're going to get out of here, but tomorrow we have Julie Wise, Director of King County Elections. Man, it's election season. Elections are heating up. So we'll have Julie Wise with us live tomorrow here on the Morning Update Show.
Good stuff.
Any last words?
I'm just excited. It's Tuesday. Really, I'm gearing up for this year anniversary, man. Working with this Converge team has been so phenomenal for me. And I'm really looking forward to how we pull this special together, because I know we got some great things in the works.
Yeah. That's March 19th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. 1 year anniversary special of the Morning Update Show. Well, if that's it for you, I guess for me, I just want to remind everybody to go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.